Hello, here's one more of Grandma's stories. I will be reading it to you, so I won't be looking at you very much, but it's a nice story anyway. It's called Hurricane. It was the Great Miami Hurricane of 1926. Houses were blowing down flat all over the place. That big hurricane had winds of at least 150 miles per hour. It hit in the middle of the night and blew for about 3 hours. We lived in a big cement block house. It was a mansion in those days. It was made of heavy cement blocks and steel. However, the awnings ripped off and smashed the windows. The rain poured in like a flood of water. The big people were trying to keep us safe, but we thought it was great fun. We little kids were having a great time wading around in the water inside the big house. Little kids don't take things very seriously. We didn't know that many people were dying outside our strong house. Whole houses were blown away. Out back, in the garden, in an old paper shack, lived an old man named Leland Valentine. That dear old man had such faith. He was a real saint of God, like a prophet of old. Everybody in the house was worried about him being out in a little flimsy cottage, and everyone expected it to blow away any minute because it was nothing but cardboard. Suddenly, the storm blew down a huge old pine tree in the yard. It crashed to the ground, just missing his little house by inches. It would have smashed the little shack flat. When the wind died down for a little while in the eye of the hurricane, the center of the hurricane, old Valentine came running over. He looked so funny in his long red flannel underwear. "What's happened? What's going on?" he asked. We said, "It's a hurricane! It's a hurricane!" "You've got to stay over here now, Leland. Your little paper shack is going to blow away. We don't know why it hasn't gone already. You got to stay here. You can't go back there to that shack." But he snorted, "Oh, rubbish. God's able to keep me anywhere, as well out there as in here. I'm going back to bed." And he did. He went back over to that little cardboard shack and went back to bed. The wind blew and the rains fell, but his little paper shack was not even damaged at all. Not even the tar paper windows. It was impossible. It was ridiculous. It was a miracle. It should have at least blown out the windows. Big apartment houses were blown over by the hurricane, but there sat that little cardboard shack, totally undamaged. And old Leland Valentine went back to sleep and said he slept fine and never woke up until the next morning when it was all over. So, the Lord is able to keep you children no matter where you are. Even if you sleep right through the eye of a hurricane, He's still able to keep you right in the middle of it all. So, what have you got to worry about? Let it blow, let it blow.